Hello, and welcome back. 9 o'clock, Friday morning, sales video. Only sales. Change the background. Trying to do some things with some lighting. Seems to be all focused in right here when I want it to be more back here, but I'll figure that out in due time. Didn't do any sourcing yesterday. Got some pictures done. Got the glasses listed. All but those causal I got. I'd already had them taken apart and put elsewhere so I could put them back together. Forgot to do that, so I'll get the pictures of that today. And probably going to list 40, 45 or so CDs, and I think there's one game in there. Yeah, get those done and put away down in here. And if I go anywhere, it's just going to be local, probably down to like Chardon and the Goodwill up here. Yeah, I got to do something about this lighting. The balancing act right there with that light. And I can't go the other way in how I had it to where it casts like this way because this picture is popping off the wall a little bit. The old world map I've had, I don't know, I have 4 or 5 other type of old world map pictures. This one is just one that has a whole lot more color to it, which you really can't see from that, but there's a bunch of color. And some Nikes. All right, so it's a sales video. Let's go and find out what's sold. Yeah, see, all that lighting is way off. It works good there, but not here because I have this other light. Either way, I'll get it figured out. But Beach Boys CD, that's why God made the radio. Sealed, 19. Janet Jackson, 2 discs. So this is one of the PS2, Xbox. I don't know what those are always on. I see them frequently enough. I don't think it was an exclusive. I'm not sure why they would have Xbox PS2 on the back, but 19. Bill Engvall show, not the one I just got. The one I just got is open. This one is sealed. 23. This Dog Watch wall command boundary system. Had this thing for years. Got it at the Habitat for like $5. Sold for 60. The Crossing, 25. I guess it's probably about the Hudson River. Saints for young people, young adults. What is it? For every day of the year. It is a 1963. Saint Gabriel of Our Lady of the Sorrows. That is Saint Catherine of BC. 36. Greatest computer games, 15. On Our Own DVD, 19. The Burning Wheel 2-book RPG game, $50, 50. And How to Hunt Your House DVD, like an instructional back here, 18. And that's it. And there is 291 in sales, 282 product costs received. So again, keeping that average up. I mean, that's not really a whole lot, but 250 a day seems to be about what my average is. I mean, it's going to vary every week on what the daily average is. And maybe a year ago, my average was under 200. Maybe a little bit before that, it was less than that. I had actually just rewatched one of my really early videos. It was like one of the, what was it, top 25 items sold in 90 days for like $4,000. So I made that video back in the beginning of December, and looking at the total amounts of what the sales were over the 90 days as I'm clicking on the web page and it's in the video, and looking at what I have now, my quantity is about the same. I think the video is like 2,700 items, and I have just under 3,000 now, and I teeter right around 3,000. I have for years and years. It seems to be just that sweet spot point where there's enough rotation coming and going to where there's enough money coming and going now for a reseller sense, depending what you're selling, depending on all of your cost totals. So if you're buying larger items and all of your your sales are $40, $50 average, whatever it may be, and your costs are a little higher, whichever. So all these things are going to greatly vary on what you consider decent metrics. So for me to have constantly, every once in a while, I'll dip below 25,000 for 90-day total. But if you do the math at 100,000, and if you do the math at, even if I say my fees and shipping, and I'm talking all the fees, the final value fees, promoted fees, off-site, all the shipping labels, any refunds, anything like that, the total amount cost, we just say is 35%, that's already 65,000 from there. And then you need to take all of the product costs, all of the shipping material costs, and all the other just minimal costs that add up with that. I'm not getting into everything you can write off. So if you start getting into all those different costs and then still not getting into the write-offs, if you're looking at 30% in your total tax burden, roughly 30% in your total tax burden at 50,000, whatever it is, because I think the bracket's 74,000, and that's 27%. And then you have the self-employment tax on top of all the other taxes. You get a little bit of a break on a few other things, not much, but if you're still looking at all that, when it's all said and done, for 100,000 gross in sales, depending on everything else, you're probably ultimately netting 30,000. There's a difference between that 30,000 and a 30,000 that's someone who doesn't own their own business, and they're just they work a paycheck or a salary, on what gets taken out and what you can write off, which is just a standardized deduction, which I think is 17,000. You write that off. You just don't pay taxes on that 17,000. And that 17,000 accounts for all types of incidentals. I'm not an accountant by any means. So when you break all the math down for your time and effort and all the different costs, at a certain point, it's going to be more joyous and more fruitful, especially if you do this full time. I do full time. It's the only income for this household. Just myself, my wife, and daughter. I've been reselling for decades. This account, I think it's 14 years old. This eBay account is 14 years old. And I primarily just always did it as I wouldn't even say supplemental, just more hobby, because I started selling way back in the late 90s. And I've always known that if there's stuff out there, and something, my dad told me a long time ago, if you always have something to sell, you'll always have money. If you have the tact to be a salesman, you'll always have more likely more money. However, it's for the most part, it's easy work. I don't put a whole lot of time in, and my work days aren't really like structured as meaning I get up a little bit before 8, start the videos around 9. If there is no video, then I kind of take my time and I can go out and do something else. If there is a longer video, depending on the feel and the jive, like so for tomorrow, I'm going out to Medina to get the bike tuned up a little bit, so I'll probably be there for at his place for like an hour, who knows. But that's a little longer drive. So I wasn't going to do multiple longer drives this week, so I'm just kind of staying more local. Next week I'll do a few more longer drives. You're going to drive to work or to a job site anyhow, and that may vary on the time frame. Not everybody drives to a different job site all the time. And I spend a little time and I look stuff up, and I find things that have a resale value to them, and I have my own standards, my own thresholds, metrics, and so on what I want to pick on the price point I want to. And at a certain point, it becomes the volume of what you're selling to where it becomes more comfortable for you to do that, as opposing to, do I really want to go in and have somebody tell me what to do for 8 hours, 10 hours? I tell myself what to do. I get my stuff done daily. Yesterday I was done a little bit before 4 with all the pictures, and I had already washed the frames and sunglasses the night prior. I'm trying to make this okay, under 15. So the whole point of this is, I again was on another channel. I don't remember who it is, because a lot of these are just kind of random channels. I see like the video's been up for 4 days and it has 130 views. I'm like, well, it seems like a smaller channel. I'll go in and watch it. And one of the comments, and here comes Bandit, doesn't know his name, right? That's just what I call him. And someone was saying that you can't make a really good living if you don't have enough going out. Well, that's completely subjective. Yes, you can make a fair enough living. And like a lot of people who probably aren't born into, if we're going to go into nepotism, who aren't born into the money, and if you want to start something and work your way up, and yeah, there's all different types of ways on how you can go about making money, the AI route, for videos. There's all different types of ways on how you can do things. But if you stick with something that you like to do, as opposing to just dollar signs, and you're going to use all your fuel to get to those dollar signs, or you can kind of go by it slow paced. And if you see your aspiration, you kind of see your feel, your dream, your goal, that I don't want to say really dream, but if you find it to where, I like going out and buying stuff, no matter what the category is. For me, throughout all the years of selling, the past over 3 years, I found that physical media, once again, it's everywhere. It's cheap, easy to work with. That means easy to picture, easy to pack, easy to store, easy to package, easy to ship. And for the most part, it sells pretty darn quick, as opposing to a lot of other categories. To me, and I've sold in a lot, not all of them, I've sold in a lot of categories. So the whole point of this kind of, I guess you could probably call it a pontification, but the whole point is that it takes a good chunk to constantly have going out the average. And that's why I kind of talk about the averages a day, and me wanting to make sure that I can have $1,000 payout a week, because that 1,000 allows for a little bit of headway, a little bit of savings, if that's going every single week. Now, if it's under that, that's fine, but it's the volume, and even in the economy on how it is, it's the volume of what's going out that keeps it to where I know that frequently enough, going to the stores I can go to, even if they're within the local route, which the local route's going to be within 30 minutes, which is still 15 stores. And then I go into the ones that are farther, which adds another almost 30, depending really which ways I'm going and how many actual stores I'm going to. That I can constantly get enough to where the inventory is growing and the sales are constantly going out, and the weekly on what I'm approaching is getting better as opposed to what it was last year or a year before that. So it's if you keep there's a great graphic on some ways if you want to think about motivation and dedication, and it's always that graphic that you have this person down in a hole, and they're like, well, you built yourself in your hole, so what does this person do? They think outside the box. They start digging at it and making themselves stairs out of the dirt. Dig from this wall, take the dirt from this wall, and move dirt over here and start compacting it. Now you're making stairs, and while you're on the stair, dig from this wall and make yourself. So it's slowly and surely you're taking what's already available to you, putting in front of you, and making your steps to success. Not really intended to be like a motivational. I don't think it's going to be motivation at all, but it's just one of those thoughts that need to be kind of explained sometimes. That from that video, from the comment, the person said that you can't make a living with just the little bit that you have. And I don't know on where they came up with that. I didn't watch the whole video. I just read the comment. Well, I watched a little bit of the video, and that made me kind of stem on like, yeah, you can. You have to constantly go out and do things. To constantly, if you want to lose weight, you need to constantly go out, go ride a bike, or go walk, or go jog. Or if you want to make your body a little stronger, you need to constantly. It's not just, oh, one DVD sold, I'm done, I can retire. That's not it. All right, so video got a little longer than I wanted in regards to that. 10 items going out, about $300. Get these CDs listed and probably just stay somewhere local today. All right, so if you like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned, stay consistent. Go with that one. Tell me anything going up, comment down below, subscribe, share. Those are all free. I got a handful more in the past couple days, which is awesome. Love it. Appreciate it. Thank you.